Hi, so in this tutorial series, we will be creating the Hack CPU emulator from the Nand to Tetris course. So for those of you who do not know what the Nand to Tetris course is, you can go to this website called nand2tetris.org, and the course is basically something that teaches you how to create a computer from scratch, from absolute scratch. There's a book for it, and there's also a Coursera course on it, but basically this is the course. The thing is, when we create all this stuff in the course, we use something called a CPU emulator, which is provided to us by the course authors. So we technically do create the CPU in hardware, but we do it as a simulation. My goal here is to basically re-implement the CPU emulator so that we can play games on the CPU emulator. And now I'll show you exactly what will be the end result of this series. This is the CPU emulator, and here we have a ROM. So we will load the game of Pong into the ROM by clicking here. So once we have clicked here, the game has been loaded into the ROM, and you can see that by going into the console here in the developer tools, and this is the ROM with all its bits, and you can see here that it's saying that the ROM has been loaded. So once it has been loaded, we can hit play, and the emulator starts, and you can see that the game has started to play, and we can move our paddle, and let's see how far we can go. And yeah, so this is basically how it works. We can do whatever we want. We don't actually write the game. The game has been provided to us by the course authors, but we write the computer on top of which the game actually runs. So that's the end result here. So in this particular video, this is just an intro video, so we will just set up the environment, and once we have set up the environment, from the next video onwards, we will start coding the emulator. So you can go to this link here. This is the Rust WASM book. The Rust WASM book is basically something that beginners can use to get started with Rust and WebAssembly. In this book, we create something called Conway's Game of Life. Now, we won't be creating Conway's Game of Life in my tutorial series, but the setup portion of this book is essential to, kind of bootstrap our project. So I will be going through the very initial setup, and then we will deviate from this book so that we can start coding our own emulator. The first thing is we need the Rust toolchain. Rust C, which is the compiler, and Cargo, which is kind of like the package manager for Rust. And you can click on this link here. I will provide this link in the description. You can go there, and then you can follow these links. So the first link is you follow this link to install Rust. So you just need to basically copy this command and then go to your terminal over here and paste it. And you have to hit enter so that it can start installing. I will not do it because I already have Rust installed. But once you have installed it, you can check it by running rust c version, and it should output some version of Rust, right? It might not be the same depending on when you're seeing this video, but yeah, I don't think it should matter that much. And you can also check if you have Cargo after running this command, and you should also have Cargo installed. So once Rust is installed, the next thing that we want to install is WASMPack. It's the same thing. You just copy the command here, hit enter. I'm not going to do it. And once it's done, again, I don't know what the version is, but I don't think it matters that much. So you should just have WASMPack. That's what matters for the most part. And then once you have Cargo, you need to use this thing called Cargo Generate, which will help us template to our project, right? It'll set up some basic stuff for us. So again, you just copy this command, paste it here, and let it run. And yeah, if I remember correctly, this command takes a lot of time. But yeah, once it's done, you will have Cargo Generate installed. And then finally, you need npm because npm will allow us to use all these JavaScript packages that are essential to publishing. So to install npm, you just follow these instructions again. Once you have these 4 things installed, then you can move on to the next page. In this page, you will have this first command which will set up the basic template for WASM for us. And in my case, I will copy this command, and I will create a new directory called YouTube. Sorry, I have to create the directory first. So mkdir for make directory, and then we can change directory into YouTube. So right now we're in the YouTube directory, and if we list the contents, it'll be empty because we just created the directory. And within this directory, we're going to use this command to create a new project. So according to them, they have named it WASM Game of Life, but we are going to name it N2T WASM, which is short for Nand to Tetris WASM. It's just a project name that I kept in the beginning, so we're just going to go with it. So now the directory won't be empty anymore. Now we have a project in it. So you can go into this, and this will have the basic template which we can use to start creating WebAssembly projects. And if you want to know how the directory looks like and why it looks like that, you can follow this tutorial, and it'll give you a good idea of what files do what. And but for now, I will just skip all this. You can read this in your own time. We will just skip to WASM back build, which will build our WebAssembly modules. So in the root directory of a project, we will hit WASM back build, and what this will do is it will compile stuff in our source directory, and it'll create a new directory called package, which will be in short, and it'll be called pkg. So if you list here, you can see we have the package directory, and if you list the package directory, you'll see we have the WASM stuff in here. So now Rust has been compiled to the target of WASM, which is WebAssembly. And then again, there's a lot of stuff explaining here what this WASM directory has and what these things mean. You can read this to understand things better, but we're going to go ahead again and get to the essential part, which is this command. And this will create a new JavaScript project template through npm. So now if you see, we have another directory called www, and we can see what's in it. And this is the HTML page that we will display. This is a JavaScript file, and then there's a bunch of other stuff that we will get to shortly. Again, we have descriptions for the different files that are in the www directory. And then, so in this directory, we have something called package.json, which contains all our dependencies. So in order to install those dependencies, we will say npm install. So this will fetch all those JavaScript packages and install them for us. And once that is done, we will go into we will add a new dependency. So at this moment in time, this JavaScript project in www is not actually linked to our WASM stuff. So in order to link that, we will add a few lines into our package.json file right here, and over here just above dev dependencies, and I'm going to remove the comment from there. And we're also going to change the name here, because for us the name is N2T WASM. So this will point towards the package directory, one directory up, right? So we have added a new thing, so we will need to install again. But before we do that, there's another change that we need to make, which is in our index.js file, we have to change this name again to N2T WASM. And this index.js file is something that will call our WebAssembly functions. So right here, it's calling the greet function, which I'll show you just in a moment. But yeah, so it's calling the greet function from our entity WASM dependency that we just added in our package.json file. So since we just added that dependency, we'll have to hit install again. And now I'll show you the greet function that's in our Rust files, because that's how our WebAssembly gets compiled. And our greet function over here just simply alerts and says hello entity WASM. So this alert is your actual alert that you get in JavaScript. So once that stuff is done, now we can serve our website locally. So we need to go into the www directory again, and over here we can say npm run start. This will run our project on localhost with a port number. So I think we can just click here and it'll open it up for us, and you can see that this greet function has been invoked, and so we have an alert here. And this is basically the basic project structure that we want. And once that is done, this is how it looked like, and that alert is what you should get, and it's an indication that things are ready to roll. So from the next video on, we will actually start coding the emulator in the source directory in lib.rs. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.